So hey, it is me. I'm back once again with a very quick video because this weekend I got asked the same question by 3 separate people, since I think it was the topic du jour, which was, okay, Mr. Fancy Pants self-published author, once you've self-published your book, how do you get people to buy it? And that is a very, very, very legitimate question. And the answer is money. That's a really unfortunate thing. When I was incredibly lucky, and I got started in self-publishing and I committed to it in 2013 when Amazon's self-publishing platform was very much in its infancy. And there are a lot of authors who are extremely successful today who joined at the same time as I did, and it worked very, very much to their advantage. Amanda Hogging is one of the best examples. You know, Amanda Hogging is an incredibly successful self-published author who sold millions of books. Her big advantage was that she started, I think, in 2011 when Amazon first opened up the Kindle direct publishing platform to people. She was an aspiring author who had received dozens of rejection slips, so she ended up self-publishing her books. And because Amazon back in those days rewarded books that got good reviews, rewarded books that were relevant to potential readers, and served them up organically in search algorithms and things like that, it was possible to get discovered organically. And Amanda Hogging deserves all the success that she has. She is a fantastic writer. She is an incredibly focused and dedicated writer. However, she did have the advantage of a very, very low sort of ceiling for success back in those days. If you wrote a really good book and had a package together, it was possible for people to find it organically, buy it, and then that would turn into a snowball, which would end up giving you a certain amount of success. And I know when I first started publishing in 2013, I was making hundreds of dollars within my first month, because whatever I wrote and published, as bad as it was organically discoverable. Those days, though, are completely over. A couple of years ago, Amazon brought in paid advertising through it. It was called AMS at first, but now it's called Advertising on Amazon. And over the course of the last 2 years, they have slowly chipped away at the organic algorithms that would serve up relevant content to people holistically, to the point that now your book is pretty much invisible unless you were doing some form of paid advertising. It doesn't necessarily need to be on Amazon, but Amazon is certainly probably the most sensible place to start. What do I mean by this? Well, there are basically only 3 places that a potential reader could find your book on Amazon right now. They can find it in the top 100 charts for whatever category your book is in. So if you write romance, the top 100 books for that particular hour are always going to be displayed. And if you have a book that's selling a ton of copies, and you might be included in that top 100, and then anybody who goes to that top 100 will see your book there, and they might buy it. And yeah, getting your book into the top 100 of a category is a very good way to make it visible and get a lot of organic people to come and buy your book. But of course, it's a chicken and egg situation. How do you get into the top 100 when it's based on book sales, unless you're already making book sales? And so you would have to do some kind of paid promotion, like a newsletter promotion or advertising on Facebook or something like that, to drive people to your product page, to get them to buy your book, to ever have a hope of being included in the top 100 for that category. The second place that your book could be discovered is through search. And there is still a lot of opportunity for non-fiction authors to get discovered organically on Amazon. Basically, somebody would go to the search bar and they type in whatever book. So if you're looking for like motorcycle maintenance for a 1975 Harley Davidson, you type that in and any book that would be relevant to that will appear. And a lot of times these days, for non-fiction books, that would be a great way. If your book is like really specific, that would be a great way to still organically get discovered. However, the search results now include sponsored content, which are basically ads for the first 2 results, and then sort of every 3rd or 4th result through that list. So if you're a fiction author and you're writing something like, I write Motorcycle Club Romance, if you type in Motorcycle Club Romance, the first couple of results that come up are going to be adverts. And then you're going to have a couple of organic results, and then you have another advert, another couple of organic results, and then another advert. So basically, the only way you can consistently get your book in there is if you pay for advertising. The third place that you can have your book discovered are on the product pages for other people's books. So you'll click on like Lee Child's latest thriller, and there's a little bar of content right underneath the blurb which is called products related to this item, and those are adverts basically, and people pay to have their book featured there. And that's a very effective way of reaching new readers, because if somebody goes to the Lee Child page and they're looking at a book and they're like, oh, I've already read this one, then they see the sponsored content ribbon and they see your book cover there and it appeals to them, and they click on it and they go to the product page. That is a great way to become visible and to make sales, but you have to pay. That's basically, you have to understand that if you want to be visible on Amazon right now, you have to pay. And that can put a lot of people off, understandably. But at the same time, I believe it is really a golden era for authors who are willing to make a commitment to learning how to successfully promote and advertise your book. I've always had a huge advantage because before I threw my lot in to self-publishing, I worked for 25 years in advertising and marketing. So I know advertising, and I know advertising how it used to work before, like the dot-com boom and everything like that, and I know how advertising works now. I'm really interested in how Facebook advertising works, and how advertising on Amazon works, on how you engage people, how you reach people. It's actually something that just interests me, and I think the fact that I have an interest in it means I've always had an advantage. So I'm definitely going to be making some videos about how to utilize advertising to get people to see your book and get people to buy your book. But I just want to make this quick video to put across that if you wrote a book and you self-published it and nobody's bought it, it's not your fault. And it might be your fault if your book sucks, but even if your book is the best book ever, right now there is pretty much no organic discoverability on Amazon. So if your book isn't selling any copies, that's because you need to promote it, market it, advertise it. With that in mind though, I want to say to you what I said earlier, is the greatest opportunity to be a successful self-published author that we've ever had in human history, because it's a level playing field. And it might not seem like a level playing field because you have to pay to play, but the fact is Amazon dominates book sales. Amazon has made this platform available to you as an author to advertise your book, and writing and publishing is such a huge industry, and reaching relevant audiences involves drilling down to such a narrow slice of them that if you understand how advertising on Amazon works, you have an amazing opportunity to find your tribe on that platform and sell them your book and sell them you as a brand and you as an author. So I'll be talking a lot about that, and especially in the context of this book. So I published this book last month. I did a video the other day where I was saying, you know, even though this book had 102 4- and 5-star reviews as a romance novel, it was getting crappy reviews right now. It's something I'm working on. It's why I'm not advertising it now, because I'll make some future videos about advertising on Amazon, but I'll explain where reviews fit into that. But basically, if I want this book to be successful from an advertising point of view, I need to make sure that I've got some pretty solid reviews, because that carries a lot of social proof. So I'll be with you right through the process as I do that with this book, and I can make videos about doing with other books. But just understand, yeah, if you are a self-published author, you have a book up on Amazon right now and it's not selling, well, it can do. Anyone in the world can be a successful self-published author. You have to learn the craft of writing and the process of self-publishing, and the process is now where you are going to get out of obscurity and start selling copies of your book. Right, I'm sure I'll make some more videos about that in the future, but until then, cheerio.